All right, little Subaru wagon update. So we've got the wheel wells almost finished up, man. We still got a little bit more to do um, in here, but I don't know how well you guys can see, but it's getting there, man. We thinned out down in here to match both sides. So this is gonna be this edge will be nice and thin and matching on both sides. Um, it'll look good. That's the whole goal, is to have both sides looking good. Let me go over here, show you what I'm talking about. I also tapped down a bunch of stuff in there, some of the metal, some of the inner well. So we have, like I said, we're trying to get the same thickness. This I might try and work down a little bit. It's pretty difficult because all this stuff was, like I said, done by somebody else. So this should have been done when this was put on. So you know what I mean. So you work your inner and then you put your outer on, and then when you attach the two, it's like you need to work out whatever's going on. But neither here nor there. We're getting it right. So we'll get the thickness of these both the same and get this all finished up. And then what we'll do is we'll do the final edge and make sure everything's good there. Um, yeah, so that's that. Uh, Also over here, started doing a little bit of thin filler here. You can see it's already breaking through in most spots. So working this back to the way it is. So what the customer was telling me is that these this is sedan here. So this is wagon. This is the original wagon. This is sedan section all the way up through here. And then obviously these are sedan doors. So the big thing is that where it goes from sedan to wagon is the issue that they had when they, attached it, because there's two different shapes. So that's what I'm working on now, is getting these body lines back to the way they should be. Um, we were also talking about how this side's, you see the body lines, they're pretty aggressive. Um, I don't think they're supposed to be that aggressive. If you look at the door, they're they're softer, so more rounded, and then they come back. And also they should kind of fade out at some point in time. You know what I mean? Become real soft before it basically becomes flat. In this area, you can see that they did that down here, but they didn't do that up here. So we're gonna rework these lines as well. But all this stuff down here is good, and all this stuff above the body lines is good. It's just tweaking those lines a little bit. As far as the sizing and all that good stuff, they did a pretty good job on that. I do like that. It's just, like I said, they kind of made them a little too aggressive and then a little too much. It's just too much of both. So we're gonna rework those. And then, like I said, so look at this, and then let me show you the other side, and you can see like how it's totally different. So there was no lines basically here, and then they didn't quite. You see what I'm saying? Like the line there is super soft. Hey man, I joke around saying, you can only see one side of the car at once, but there comes a time when you fucked up. So these guys definitely didn't do the best job. But like I said, we'll get it right. This side is this section behind the gas cap. It's the worst of the worst of this whole project, and then the wheel well. So spending the extra time now getting this stuff all right, is going to make everything else seem 10 times easier. So that's where we're at on that. I showed you guys in the other video, if you watched it, the disassembly. We've got a lot of the car taken apart. Um, I shouldn't say a lot, but basically the front end, it's all taken apart. So we're going to get working on that stuff, get that stuff ready for paint. That's pretty straightforward. Um, I haven't decided how I'm going to adjust these doors to make it pull in yet. We were talking about the striker, so we haven't gotten to that yet. Rest of the stuff, roof's good. We got to get the roof rails off. Got to get the hatch off. That can probably come off in the next day or so because we don't really need it for anything on there. The other thing that we're going to be doing is the trimming of the bumpers. I talked about that. And then we've also got, that's one thing that is on this side fucked up, is basically there should be the body line you see here should be here and then continuing. It basically blends out into this dog leg, and it's basically the same size. So that's what we're missing on both sides as well. So that's got to get done. And then we've got to remove some material from these bumpers to make this edge right here line up to this edge. I also measured today and send it to the customer. So again, the people who did these quarter replacements, if you measure from this hole to basically the point where this bumper should end, but on the quarter itself, it's two different sizes. It's about half-inch difference. So this side is a half-inch longer or shorter, I forget, but they're half-inch difference, and that's what caused that bumper to stick out further on one side than the other. There's not really a way to fix that unless you replace, section this quarter, because you can't bring this back because you would fuck up the whole radius, and you can't bring this back because that'll push the bumper back further and it'll misalign everything back here. So there's no real way to do that unless this whole quarter was shifted back, um, whichever side's wrong. So there's that. But again, that's a problem that we're just going to have to live with and make the best we can out of what we have planned for this project. Yeah. So that's about it, I guess. If you notice this light down here, to get some new lights um, over here in the paint section where I'm going to be painting and getting, all the paint work's going to be done over here. I plan to get some lights up here. I don't have enough plugs, and I also, there was something else I'm missing. Need more lights. You always want more lights, but we'll get some more. But this is a great start. You can tell it's a lot different than it was before, especially on this side, because we get lights from the other side of the shop, but there's nothing over here. So this is going to be a great addition. These ones down here do work. I just unplugged them to use this other one. So my plan is to do FRP on this whole wall, which is like that hard plastic stuff you see in like a commercial kitchen or something like that. It's white. It's like a hard plastic. It's nice, but it's about $25 a square. So if you can count these squares all the way from floor to ceiling, it's quite a bit. So we're going to have to wait on that and deal with the ugly ass walls for now. I don't want to paint these because painting these is going to be a nightmare, and it's going to look like crap because this is all unfinished, drywall. It needs primer. It needs to be taped. So I figured doing the FRP is going to be the best solution. Even though it's a little bit more pricey, it's also going to last forever. You know what I mean? We'll never have any issues, especially with moisture or paint or any of that stuff getting on there. So that's the plan with that. And then, like I said, we've got the fans up there, and I'm going to get some more lighting, and then we'll work on our lighting on this side, and we'll do a big curtain from that pillar to, actually, I'm going to go further than I said in the other video, probably about to where Drago is. That way we have a nice spray area that I can move the curtain all the way to one side, pull the car in, pull the vehicle in, and then move the curtain and have plenty of room to walk around. And we can, I can clean that area. It's going to stay clean while I'm painting, and it's just overall going to make a lot quality of life. So yeah, that's a little update for today. Really, man, it's just been grinding on these wheel wells. It's a lot. It's a pain in the ass. Definitely not how I want to spend my days grinding, but it's part of the gig. Some days you're painting, some days you're grinding. So it is what it is. I think that's it for now. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to work more on this body work, get these definitely finished up. The wheel wells definitely will be finished tomorrow. Hopefully I can get this quarter to damn near finished and maybe get started on the other side. And then, like I said, all these other parts will blaze through pretty quick, man. You know what I mean? They're all in pretty good condition. Just little nicks and crannies and stuff like that. But compared to what I'm doing now with this quarter, it's going to be a breeze. So I'm excited, and like I said, we'll keep moving along, keep you updated. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Peace.